Hey guys, again here. I know that many of you guys are probably getting to the point where you're working on your introduction. Also, I know that many of you guys struggle with your introduction, and part of it, I think, is because maybe either you don't read the directions, or maybe you just don't have a lot of practice with those directions. And so when we say things like context or narrowing, you say, I have no idea what that is, right? So we're going to open up step two, or our introduction, and we're going to talk about what a thesis statement is. We're going to talk a little bit about these steps right here that you guys should be pretty familiar with, and we're going to kind of just create an introduction down here. All right. So first, our thesis statement is really just our side of the argument. You know, are we picking the lady or are we picking the tiger to argue for, right? There are these sentence frames right here, and you guys can use those if you want, but you don't have to. But let's just use the first one. So while some readers might think that the lady came out of the door, in fact, the tiger came through the door because the princess was jealous. She was semi-barbaric, and she hated the girl behind the door, right? Those would be like our three reasons that we talked about. You guys have already found those in step two, right? Okay, so we have our thesis statement. That's what we're going to argue and how we're going to argue it, right? That actually does both step 4 and step 5 right here, okay? So first we need a hook. We just really need to say something to get the audience's attention here. So, and I'll just be honest, hooks are not super duper important. There's something that's really nice to have if you can have it, okay? So actually let's skip that for now. The context of the argument, background situation, people involved, what does this affect or who, right? This can almost always be started this way. In the short story, the lady or the tiger by Frank R. Stockton, there is a semi-barbaric king who handles justice by putting people into an arena where they have to pick between two doors. In one, there is a tiger, and in the other, a beautiful lady that that one will have to marry, right? So this gives us some general information about the story and what we're talking about, right? We know there's a king. We know that he forces people into this arena to deal out justice, right? Now we need to know the specific problem in the text, and that is that this king has a daughter, and she and she falls in love with a handsome young man in the kingdom. The king, this is also part of the problem, the king finds out and puts the young man on trial in the arena. Okay, so now we know that the young man has to choose between two doors, right? And that's really the problem in the text. So the other thing we need to know is the princess knows what is behind each, and she says or indicates to the youth what door to pick, right? Now we can hit our thesis statement, right? And we can just copy that and then paste it down here, okay? So while some readers might think that the lady came out of the door, in fact, the tiger came out of the door because of our reasons, right? All right. Now, if we can think of a hook, we can try to think of one, right? So, torn between despair and jealousy, a young princess must make the biggest choice of her life. Kind of cheesy, but it does the job. So I'll indent here, right? Important thing to know is the difference between context and narrowing. Context is just what's going on, like we talked about. There's this dude, he has this arena, and he forces people in there for justice. Narrowing is the specific problem in the text, which is, well, this princess is in love with this guy, and he's put on trial, and she knows what's behind what door, and she indicates one, but the author doesn't tell us what's going on, or what's going to come out of that door, right? That's everything for your introduction. After this, you'll lead into your body paragraphs, and in each paragraph, you'll talk about whatever your reasons were in the prior paragraph, right? So one reason is that the princess was jealous, the other is she was semi-barbaric, and the other was she hated the girl. So I'd have evidence for each one of those. All right, guys, I hope this is helpful. See you next time.